Hey, what's going on, guys? Tony here with Creative Fish Studio. I'm out at the little stock tanks beside my house. We had a lot of rain actually the other day, and so I was checking first of all to see what the water levels were like, but also I just picked up a few little koi that we're putting in here for quarantine. So that's partly the reason that we have these tanks is as quarantine tanks, but also I want to use them as grow outs for some of the plants that I have, and hopefully keep the koi from getting them too destroyed. And so let them grow out in here. But I picked up two. I was there looking at Ranchu that they still had left, and I saw these. I like the patterns on them, and so I decided to pick up these two koi. And I wanted to go into the bigger koi pond, but I want to make sure that they're healthy and they don't bring anything in. So we're gonna put them in here first. Like I said, I was using these for plants as well. Like these water hyacinth, these cost like $4. They're very prolific. They should, spread like crazy, take over a pond or a system. But they don't in my koi pond because the koi nip at the roots and they keep them very trimmed. And so they actually stay small in my pond. So I'm hoping that I can grow them out here. I do have 3 goldfish in here. Let's see if I can find. One of them was a rescue from the local pet store, kind of. Somebody brought it in there. Here he is. And this guy was rescued or brought in because he was being beat up by the koi in somebody's pond. It was in a pond, so it got large. Doesn't look that large out here, but in a fish tank, it looks pretty good size. And so he knew I had these stock tanks in the pond, and so he gave me a good deal on these or that fish in order to bring it home. So he's in here with 2 other fancies, and I just moved these water hyacinth from what was just a plant tank down at the end there. So this tank here is larger. It was given to me because it was in rough shape. I patched it up some, got it to stop leaking, and I'm letting my neighbor use it. As you can see, there's a ton of fish in here. They're all local minnows that he bought as bait for fishing. And at the end of the day, he still has them left, and they were dying in buckets and all that. So I told him he could use this one to keep them so that he can fish with them and not just keep needlessly killing them in buckets and go and buying more. So they're still being used as bait, but at least they're not dying in buckets and requiring them to have more on hand for him to buy, But anyway, so that's what I've got going on here. We'll take a quick look at the other pond. It's now a year old. It's doing pretty good. It's a little bit green right now. We just had a heavy rain last night, and so it stirred up a bunch. But overall, it's looking pretty decent. I don't mind the water being a little murky. My taste, I don't really hate it. I don't necessarily like seeing to the bottom and seeing all my filters and all that kind of stuff in there. So as long as it's not, unhealthy water for the fish, I don't mind it being a little bit green and full of nutrients for them. So as long as it's not dirty as far as ammonia and nitrates and all of that, I'm okay with it being a little green. So anyway, let's take a quick look at that. All right, so as you can see here, this pond is looking well. I've got the 3 different returns coming in from the waterfall over there, very modern waterfall. The little fountain in the middle. That one, I daily have to clean the filter sponge on it because it's just sucking up all the gunk that is in the water. I've currently been doing probably 30% water changes weekly on it, trying to get everything back in control. But you can see the lily pads all came back in. The plants, I do have just a weed pot over there. And the Japanese maple that was in there, ornamental, did not make it through the winter, and it's just not growing weeds that are in there. Grasses have come back, except the lemongrass, which shouldn't come back, which we've planted the same as the middle little cutoffs of tall grasses that'll make kind of a wall behind it there and kind of keep it in. So haven't seen any birds here. I don't know if it's because of that. I added this little scarecrow metal artwork thing that I made, welded together, and that's kind of what we've got going on. Maybe because it's so close to the house, but birds and predators have not really been an issue for us. Currently we have about 25 regular goldfish in here, just common. They were feeders that we started the pond with just to get everything going. Have not gotten rid of any yet. We'll be getting rid of some of those here. I do think that they've been spawning, so I'm going to wait until that period is done. and then I'll probably take them to my local fish store for them to be able to sell. My kids are enjoying the pool just to the side here, as you can hear them. But yeah, I mean, everything's looking healthy. The fish all survived. Haven't seen the plecostomus that was in there. We just kind of left him in there because we couldn't find him when I tried to bring him out. He's in there, but we don't know where, and I don't know if he made it through the cold winter or not. But some people tend to think that he might have made it, so we'll see. Here's a little frog. All right, so here's my filter, the Laguna Clear Flow, I think is what it was called. And then I've actually just got a black bucket here that I use to cover up my just top fin whisper air pump that we just use, have a little bit of bubbles going in here next to the plants. Unnecessary, I guess, but it's all right. You can see the algae that we've got in here. It's kind of long and thick, and it's really stuck on there. So we'll see how that proceeds. But we're in straight sun over here, so it's problematic for it. I'm hoping to get more coverage this year by using plants to help provide shade for the water here and maybe not get so much algae in there. But that is something I am trying to battle. I do have 2 filters running. One of them does the 2 outside waterfall, and then the Laguna does the center one. And that one also has the black light on it. So that's kind of the setup that we have here. The other one is a underground filter or underwater filter, and it's a double wide. I think it's 1,000 gallon or 1,500 gallon that is supposed to treat. And then I've also got this other one. So technically I'm double filtering, but it's still struggling with the load that we have on it with the sun and this many fish. And me being a sucker and feeding them when they beg. However, I'm not going to feed them right now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it there. I'm going to let these fish out of their bags and into the stock pond. I didn't mean to go so long over at the koi pond, but it is what it is. I will mention, guys, that I do have these shirts like this one here for sale. You can message me if you're interested in getting one. I have different sizes, colors, all of that available. I've got them with a goldfish, like an Aranda as well. So if you reach out to me, I've got stickers and all that kind of stuff if you want for your car. So I'm kind of working up some of the merchandising things that I can, just because I love being able to have it, and I haven't found stuff necessarily that I liked, and so I started making it for myself. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. As always, have fun fish keeping, and we'll see you next time.